Good evening, everybody who's watching us, and we're actually recording it at about 5:15 on, is it Wednesday? Katy, I lose time of
All
the
day, Wednesday, all day.
Wednesday all day, and the day's nearly over. If you haven't seen one of these before, they're a series of business conversations that I, Martin Gilchrist from Gilchrist Co Chartered Accountants, have with the great people that I get to talk to about business owners, business service providers, business coaches and consultants, so that you get the opportunity to see who it is that that really inspires me, you can engage me and make my job worthwhile. And today I am delighted that we are getting an opportunity to speak with Katy. Now, Katy is a fantastic woman, and she can give a much better introduction of who she is and what she does than I do, will do, as you can see. So I'm going to let Katy give us an introduction. Katy, tell us who you are.
Oh, thank you, Marty. Sorry about the shuffling. I just wanted a bit more of a clear background. So thanks so much for inviting me on, Martin. It's absolutely brilliant to be here. My name is Katy, and I work for a company called Satago. We are a financial services software company that provides credit control software to SMEs and accountants. Personally, I have worked in similar fields for far too many years than I care to remember. Obviously, I started incredibly young, and I just absolutely love what I do. And I really want to get the message of Satago out there to as many people as possible. So this is a great way to do it. Obviously, we haven't got that long, but I'll give my contact details at the end. And also, obviously, I'm perfectly and easily contactable by you as well. So just really want to talk a little bit about the subject we've agreed. So hopefully people can pick up some hints and tips from that. Okay. And then if they want to get in touch with us, great.
Sure. And the subject is, now, Katy, I'm going to be honest, and please don't take it the wrong way, but credit control. Now, credit control is an essential subject for any business owner, but it's not my favorite jobs. As a matter of fact, I've been doing credit control this morning, and I hate bringing up and asking people to pay bills. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm sure many people do. But before we get into the topic of credit control, which you know inside out and back to front, tell us a little bit about how you got to be where you are now. What did you study?
Yeah.
What do you describe yourself as what's your profession?
I would say professional. I'm a business development professional, if we're going to be all formal about it. I kind of fell into sales accidentally while out of uni with nothing to do, and ended up doing telesales and got absolutely hooked. From that point forwards, I was really lucky that I got to work with market leaders in pharmaceuticals, financial services, across quite a few different areas. Had a brilliant grounding, and basically just worked for various people. And then I ended up working for Satago a few months ago, basically bringing a lot of my experiences together. So selling sort of through means like what we're doing now, going out, talking to people as much as I can, although obviously we can't go out and do it just now. So trying to make use, as everybody is, of these new technologies that work some of the time, most of the time, occasionally. And just really sort of, I feel quite passionate that Satago can help business people. Yes, credit control can be quite dull, which is why with something like Satago, you don't have to worry about it. So credit control is not going to run your business, but it's vital. It's really, really important. I'm going to talk a bit more about that shortly. But I don't live and breathe credit control, I'll be totally honest, because credit control is something that should be running in the background of your business while you get on with things that maybe interest you a little bit more. So that's the whole point behind Satago.
There's quite a few questions I want to get through with you in what is a relatively short period of time. So if it's okay with you, I've really enjoyed, we've had a wee bit of a conversation before we came on this evening, but I appreciate your time, my time, and anybody who's watching this is time's limited. So we're not going to get the luxury of having to spend the time for a long conversation I would love to have. And maybe we will catch up after this, or we'll definitely be catching up after this. But for tonight, if we can rattle through the answers
Yes.
pretty quickly, so we'll keep it to about a minute or 2 minutes to each question, and try and tease out as much as we can for any small business owner who might be watching this about how they might be able to get over that hurdle and fight the good fight in relation to credit control. So,
absolutely. And if I keep going on, just shut me up, Martin, because it is something I could talk about for an awfully long time.
and do the same with me, because if there's one thing about me that everybody who knows me knows, it's I love the sound of my own voice. So if I'm going too much, just wave me down, calm me down, bring me back to reality. So the first question is, quite simply, what is credit control?
Right. So basically, credit control is the process of deciding and managing which customers you're going to offer credit to. So it's really, you need to check your customers before you take them on as customers, or if they're existing customers, keep checking. Because we do have instances whereby someone's taken on a customer who's incredibly creditworthy, and then 3 years later, it's all gone horribly wrong. And in those 3 years, they never credit checked them again. So it's really important to keep doing the process. Basically, you decide what terms you're going to offer, whether you're going to offer them credit, what terms you're going to offer them credit under, and then you need to set up a system to do that and deal with both your internal and your external customers. And just keep accurate records as well. And that in a nutshell even, is credit control.
Very good. Because if I had been asked the same question, and obviously I'm not an expert in credit control, but I always thought credit control was what you did after you'd done the work. You know, you do the work, you issue the bill, it doesn't get paid, and then you have a system in place for sort of nudging the client towards actually paying the money that you owe. But it's interesting to get the perspective that credit control is something that starts even before the work starts, maybe.
It absolutely does, because at the end of the day, isn't it better to be able to have a conversation with a client that says, is there going to be an issue paying this invoice, rather than, oi, where's my money? So the whole point behind good credit control and good automated credit control is you've got a very, very clear picture of your business at all times at the press of a button or two. So you can make decisions as to who you need to chase. And that might be an invoice that's not actually due. But because you've got your credit search facility on there, you've been alerted to the fact that this client might be having some problems. So you can kind of push yourself to top of the queue for payment, if you like. So it really is about giving you an overall picture of your business, because imagine sitting there with a massive order book thinking, my business is going great. If the money doesn't come in from that order book, what's the point? You've got to keep that cash flow going. Cash flow is absolutely key. I know they say cash is king. I would say cash flow is actually king. It's really, really important for any business of any size.
And would you say that then is why credit control is important, or is there another reason or reasons why credit control is important?
I would say it's important because if you do it correctly, it's a natural process. And as a result of it, the invoices should just be paid. Credit control is, like you referenced, it's probably not the most exciting subject. So it's something that should be running in the background. Now, if you're spending a lot of time chasing your invoices, then that's time that you can't spend growing and developing your business. That's time that you cannot spend in your, at the moment, your COVID recovery plans. But what you're having to do is spend hours, or get a member of staff to spend hours on the phone or sending emails. Whereas if credit control is done right the first time, the money should come in naturally. So it's just really about setting up systems from the beginning, using the right information to choose whether you want somebody to be a client, monitoring that client, and just, if you do it all right, the money should just start coming in as and when it's due, sometimes even early.
So in when I went to accounting school, and I was learning about, you maybe spent half an hour on how to do credit control when you were at college doing accountancy. And the system we were taught was, it was a 3-letter system. So you issued your invoice, and then after 30 days, you issued a final reminder. And if nothing came in after another 10 days, you issued a second reminder, which was a little bit more ardent, I suppose. And then after, basically by the time you got to 60 days, you were issuing your final reminder. Okay, and the final reminder would have been a very legalistic sort of pay now or else we're going to start small claim court proceedings, which nobody wants to issue to a client ever. And then after that, there was a small claims process. And thankfully, in 14 years of a business, I've been to the small claims court once over a late payment. And it was an experience I don't want to have to suffer again. So that was my teacher. That was my understanding of what credit control, I suppose, how our credit control processes worked over the last 2 years. But from your professional perspective, what are the key areas that usually influence credit control policy? If that was our policy, what else should we be adding?
I think the key areas is, first of all, what's the credit worthiness of your customer? Do you want them as a customer? I think particularly when things are a bit tight, somebody makes an inquiry to your business and it's looking good, you're thinking, brilliant, let's take them on as a customer. However, if they're going to end up costing you money rather than making you money, is that somebody that you want as a client? Is it not better to see upfront whether you want to work with that person or not? And as an accountant, your clients may ask for your advice on that. They may not, they may. So to be in a position where you can say, actually, do you know what? You may not want to work with that client. But it's a lot more complicated than that. Sorry to make things complicated. For example, for example, you could get somebody come to you and say, I've won this fantastic new client. You say, oh, great, what are their terms? Oh, their terms are 30 days. You go into a credit report and you can see that typically they pay 20 to 30 days beyond terms. So for cash flow purposes, you now know that you're probably not getting paid by them for 60 days. And if you're fine with that, great. If you're not, then you need to make a decision about that around, firstly, whether to take them as a client, or if they're a client, you need to manage your cash flow around that a little bit better and manage your expectations. So really it's about whether they're creditworthy, how quickly they pay, and then you have to decide what terms to offer them and how you're going to actually monitor those invoices, how you're going to monitor the money coming in, and how you're going to chase that if it doesn't come in. And at what point do you want to chase that? And that's why you need a really robust credit control system running in the background of your business, just tinkering away there while you get on with the rest of your life.
Before you had started working for Satago, if you were pointing someone in the direction of good resources for how to set up a credit control policy in their businesses, are there any good websites or just resources about how to do credit control, or is that all Satago do it? Is that everything provided on that?
We're not the only company that do it. We haven't reinvented it or invented credit control in the first place. There are many systems. Some of the automated ones are extremely basic. You can break it down into automated and manual. The manual ones are good because you can make them fit your business a lot more easily. Also, you can change them very quickly, usually, in most cases. Automated ones have traditionally been one size fits all. So they're great unless you need to change anything or unless that off-the-shelf package doesn't fit your company. So what you really want...
Sorry to cut across you. An automated credit control system. What does that mean?
Automated credit control system is something that you would set up. It's usually a piece of software that ties into your accounting software. So it would tie into your Xero, your QuickBooks, Free Agent, Sage, whatever. And it's kind of like an add-on, and it allows you to manage the credit control. So it will monitor which invoices have gone out. It will monitor which invoices are due to come in. And it also should, if it's a good system, give you an insight into the customer as a whole. And if it's a really good system, it should show you what the exposure of your business to risk is. So you should be able to see how much you've got due coming in, when it's due to come in, and whether you need to do any chasing for those. Now, traditionally, the downside of automated credit control is, if you imagine you get an email from Satago asking why hasn't that invoice been paid, as a business, you're going to think, oh, that's not from anyone important. I don't even know them. I'm going to ignore it. However, if the email comes from Martin Gilchrist saying, hang on a minute, where's my money? People are much more likely to pay that. So when you're looking for an automated credit control system, it's really important that you find one that can do direct emailing in your name and also one that's really adaptable. For example, I was talking to an accountant that was mentioning that somebody didn't pay up until he bumped into them on the golf course. and then they paid extremely quickly the next day because they were able to have that conversation.
Yeah.
However, can you imagine if they'd had that conversation on the Thursday and it had been agreed that the payment was coming in on the Monday, and on the Friday they got an automated reminder? They're not going to be happy about it. It's not going to look good. It makes you look inefficient, and it makes you look basically like you're chasing people who don't need to be chased.
Yeah.
So you need to pick an automated system that will allow for the personalization of a manual system, but also is efficient and needs very little input on a day-to-day basis from people within your business. Because like we've said so many times, credit control should just happen naturally. You shouldn't need to be on top of it all the time if it works.
Yeah, and that probably covers the next question I had, which was how can credit control positively impact the relationship with your clients? How does it help a relationship with credit control?
Well, I think you said yourself, nobody likes ringing people up and asking them for money. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes doing it. It's not a great conversation to have. It's not comfortable. And many clients don't appreciate regular automated reminders if they've got every intention of paying. So you're risking basically, annoying your good payers while you're also chasing your bad payers. So what you can do is you can get on top of things, okay? So it will only chase them where absolutely necessary. And a very good system will identify exactly who may become a problem. Not is a problem now, but who could potentially become a problem. So again, you can have that conversation. And as an accountant, this is particularly important because you can have the conversation that says, is everything okay? Are you having some cash flow issues? Is there any way that we can help you? Can we point you in direction of perhaps, do you need to look at financing? So you can have those conversations and you can very much be an advisor to your clients as an accountant rather than the person who rings them up and asks them why they haven't paid your bill. And as an SME, it shows that you're proactive. It shows that you're taking action before it's necessary. And it allows you to have much more comfortable conversations around that. It makes you look organized, efficient. And another key thing is it gives a really clear audit trail as an automated service. So there's never going to be an argument about, no, I didn't have that invoice. I don't remember seeing that invoice. Where did you send that? Because a really good automated system will show that it's been delivered and it will show who it's been delivered to. So there's no arguments. You'll have a very, very clear audit trail. Plus the fact that an automated system takes a little bit of the emotion out of it as well, we tend to find. And an automated system, basically, it has been proven that people are more likely to pay quickly if there's a robust automated system. So you're not going to be in a position as much of having to chase your clients. Therefore, you're going to have a good relationship with them.
I think you make a very good point there about taking the emotion out of it, because I don't know of any small business owner who wants to chase a client for a bill that's substantially overdue, particularly if it's been ongoing for a while, because nobody wants that sort of conflict, and you just try to avoid it. We all know that feeling in the pit of our stomach when we have to ring somebody up for the third time to say, look, where's my money? And
where's my money?
Yeah, I know. Now, I think the point you're making is as well that if there's a system in place that you're just following through, it takes a lot of that emotion out of it, because everybody knows where to stand. If your clients know before you begin how the credit control process works and the tools and solutions that you're doing to use it, you're not actually doing credit control. All you're doing is helping them by reminding them what's due, because not everybody's going to be highly organized, and not everybody's going to be sitting thinking about, oh, well, this is what I owe Gilchrist Co. Now I better put that in my plan. Maybe they rely on credit control.
And as well, if you do get a good system, then every time you send a reminder, the invoice can be automatically attached. You can also send them a statement once a month of what's outstanding. So when they get the email from you, they're not going, oh, what's that? What do I owe? Oh, somebody track that invoice down. What's going on? It's there in front of them. It's really clear, and they can see exactly what they owe you. And so if there's going to be a problem with that, they can get in touch with you and they can discuss it with you. And you're very much going to have a dialogue with your client about payments rather than a difficult conversation about why you haven't been paid. So, because at the end of the day, if they can't pay you, that conversation is going to be as awkward for them as it is for you. So if you're helping them not get in that position, or you're opening your door a little bit to allow them to talk to you, that can only improve your relationship with them.
true. That's true. So we're in the use of the term unprecedented has been unprecedented
Yeah,
recently.
I know.
We're in unprecedented times at the moment.
That and you're on mute are the two the two most commonly stated phrases.
Probably said unprecedented. So what issues are SMEs currently facing with regard to their credit control?
Well, like you said, it is unprecedented. We're officially in recession as a country, the UK. It's official, despite Rishi doing his best with giving us all free meals. We are in recession, and the furlough scheme is ending. Government assistance is slowing down, so it's really important to be on top of your cash flow. Every single outstanding invoice is really, really important. You need to get that in.
You've distracted me with the free meals thing. I was out for a free meal with Michelle at lunchtime yesterday, and I think the bill came to £24. We're down in Belfast, doing some work, and we popped into the Merchant Hotel. If you're ever in Belfast, pop into the Merchant Hotel. It's very, very nice.
I certainly will, and you can buy me a drink.
I'll even buy you lunch.
Even better, I come over.
I sat and I garbled and I ate, and the bill came out, and I was expecting it to be about 30 odd quid because it was lunchtime. Lunchtimes are usually cheaper. £12. £12 for the both of us.
My gosh.
That's
brilliant.
See helping people out like that.
I know. It's brilliant. We've used it loads. Because obviously with there being four of us, we can get like 40 quid a go off. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. No. It's been a really good thing. They to be fair, it has been part of government help, but it's coming to an end now. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it's going to be better if you can deal with your debtors basically more proactively rather than try and firefight, because you might have other things on your mind. You might be trying to have some sort of COVID recovery program. You might have lost clients. You might want to find new clients. The last thing you want to think about is credit control. The last thing you want to do is be trying to bring in all this money and spending loads of time on it. So also, as we know, we're on Zoom now. A lot of people are working from home. Unfortunately, there have been some redundancies. People are starting to take holidays now as well. Now, we've all had to learn new things, and a lot of MDs, CEOs and managing directors suddenly finding themselves in charge of the credit control system because the person doing it's gone on holiday. So or they've been made redundant or whatever, or on furlough. So if the system is basically written down in somebody's notebook somewhere, passing that on to somebody else is incredibly difficult. Whereas if you've got an automated system, you can log on and it's just really, really simple. So that's extremely important. But there's certain sectors as well that have been hit harder than others. Mm-hmm. So being aware of which sectors are facing issues, it will allow you, for example, if you mainly have a lot of recruitment clients, for example, recruitment has been hit extremely hard. I know from people I've spoken to. If you're aware of that and you know what your exposure to that particular area of business is, then you know that is something you need to have a think about when you're taking on new clients or when you're chasing your clients for money. So I think really the issues facing SMEs at the moment with with credit control is it's just become even more important than it was previously. And to me, it's incredibly important anyway.
That brings up a question of Satago. So
yeah,
I have known of Satago from when it was just a wee baby startup. Even, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I can't remember how long it was. But
before my time, but yes.
I can remember having a conversation with the founder, and I can't remember if he said his dad was a butcher, but his dad was in business, and the issue was his dad it must have been a butcher because he wouldn't be chasing money. Because whatever his dad was doing, he had to chase money, and he thought there must be a better way of doing this. And he had the courage and the grit and the energy to try and start something from scratch, try to develop an app or a piece of software to help both his dad and other small businesses do that. And over the years, Satago has grown and it's developed and it's become successful. And I wish I had just grown and been successful and developed as far as Satago. I think maybe I'm a typical BMW man. You get to a certain level of comfort and you just go, Ah, this is
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But Satago has certainly broke the boundaries and it's cracked through the glass ceiling. It's done all the good stuff. But what it's done in that process is brought on additional services, and one of them is in relation to, and I'm not sure what the proper term is, but invoice financing. Is that the right term? And tell me a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, invoice financing. Basically, we do what's called selective invoice financing, and it's through the platform. So it's extremely easy to do. It's all done online. Any documents can be uploaded. It's extremely simple. And just to break it down into very simple terms, Martin, if one of your clients, for example, came to you and said, Martin, I need to buy this piece of equipment in order to do this job and then ultimately get paid, but I'm not going to have the money until the invoice is paid and it's on 60, 90, whatever days, what do I do in the meantime? You can point them in direction of invoice finance. The beauty of it is you only pay for what you use. So you can basically make inquiries. What you can do is through the Satago platform, you can load up, for example, 5 invoices. You can say, would you lend me money, Satago, on these 5 invoices? And we can go, tell you what, we'll lend you on the first one, the third one, and the 5th one. There you go. And that's how much it will cost you. What do you want to do? And you just click a button and say, yes, please, I would like to borrow on those invoices. Then we do our checks at this end. Obviously, we have to make sure the invoices are genuine. We have to make sure that they aren't significantly overdue, although we don't rule the ones out that are slightly overdue. Once we've done that, we say, not a problem, here you go. Once we've approved it and all our checks have been done, we can get the money extremely quickly within a matter of days. Okay? They can repay that at any time. So say they've got such a brilliant credit control system that the end client pays them within 30 rather than 60 days, they can click a pay early button and they pay early and they stop paying any fees at that point.
Okay.
So that's basically in a nutshell. Invoice finance can be a lot more complicated. We've tried to simplify it as much as possible through the platform. And it is really for people who are feeling a bit of a cash flow pinch. They might, like I said in that example, they might need a bit of extra equipment, or they might just need a bit of help to see them through to the invoices coming in. And it just really gives them the opportunity to free up that money that's tied up in their order book.
Yeah, so it's something you would use exceptionally. You wouldn't necessarily use it for every single invoice. But if you're, for example, growing quickly and your cash flow, because cash flow is a big issue for successful, fast-growing businesses, or if you're going into a period where credit gets very tight and people are starting to slow down on the payment of invoices, but you still have your overheads that need to be met. You know the money's coming, but you need to pay your bills now, and you've no other options. It's not you have other options, but this is an additional option on top of that. It's an interesting to let people know that there are things that they can do with their invoices if needs be. The final question. The final question I have on my wee list of questions I had here for you this evening is, how can I get help with my credit control? So
well, there are a lot of systems out there. Obviously, I mainly know the Satago system. That's who I work for. And at the end, if you're kind enough, Martin, I will share my contact details with everybody so they can contact us if they want to. I would say your first port of call should really be your accountant. Your accountant should be able to advise you. They know your business, probably not as well as you do, but they should have a good handle on your business. They should be able to advise you. What you need to do is look at your system you've got at the moment. You might be thinking, do you know what, there's actually nothing wrong with my credit control. However, just because it's not terrible, it doesn't mean it couldn't be better. It's definitely worth having a look at whether a system like Satago's would help you get paid on time every time. That's basically our whole raison d'etre, is to get people getting paid, get the cash flowing back into your business, and basically help you grow your business or develop your business how you want to do that. So if you do want help, speak to your accountant. You're more than welcome to come direct to Satago if you want to. We're not going to turn that down. However, I would say that we may be able to offer a slightly better deal via the accountants. So that should be your first port of call. But if you want to give me a call, anybody watching the video, you want some more information, you just want to have a chat about your credit control or generally what Satago does, then absolutely get in touch. We're always happy to hear from you. And as you know, Martin, I quite like to talk, as you do. So I'm quite happy to talk to anybody as well.
And you're a fount of information, I have to say. Certainly
That's right.
a lot since we first got to know each other and over the conversations that we've had since. And it's always a joy as well. So you're a nice person to talk to. So
Thank
as much
you.
as credit control may not be the nicest subject, if you're going to have to talk to someone about it, I certainly recommend speaking to Katy because...
But the thing is, Martin, I'm not actually here, and my job isn't to sell credit control to people. My job, I look at it, is to help businesses with their cash flow. That's what my job is. It's not to sell them credit control. It's just really to advise them and help them on getting their cash flowing in the right way, obviously in, not out.
Okay, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have, or do you think have we, in a nutshell, I appreciate that this isn't a workshop or a couple of hour long presentation on how to do credit control. It's really just to give people a little taste. But if is there any burning questions that we haven't covered that we could have covered?
I don't think so. I think, like you say, it's possible. Obviously, hopefully, we've tried to make it interesting. But it's not something people are going to, read books about at bedtime or anything. Simply because it should just happen. And if you follow the process, it just should happen naturally. It shouldn't be a big thing within your business. It should just carry on quietly in the background while you're doing what else your business wants to do. So I think really we've given everyone a taster of credit control, hopefully. And, I'll give my contact details at the end here, if that's all right with you, Martin, if you wouldn't mind me popping that up on screen. And if anybody wants to know more about credit control in general, or have a chat about Satago, or have a look at the product and see exactly what it could do for the business, then get in touch and we'll be more than happy to arrange that. And as Martin said, I'm very nice and not at all scary, so feel free to get in touch with me.
Very good. Okay. Well, I think that has been an interesting and engaging introduction to Satago credit control and the things that small businesses can be doing to help with their cash flow. As you say, it's more about cash flow than it is about credit control. Do you want to share your thing now? Let's see if we can get the technology to work. This
if you change me to host, then I believe I can do it.
Now, that's a question. I may or may not be able to do that.
I think if you click on my name, I'm clueless, but my husband's not. Aha, you did. Bear with me. Well done, Martin. Go on.
Right. I don't know
screen. No, you've just disabled it again.
All right. Okay. Let me see, Katy. Okay. All right. Try that.
Oh, you've enabled it. Hang on. Let's see. Share screen. No, you've just disabled. Oh, right. You keep enabling and disabling, apparently.
I don't know that I can enable you.
No.
The version of make host. Do you want to choose? Yes. Ta-da!
Oh, have we done it?
I think we have. It's saying you're the host now.
Right. Can you see that, Martin?
No. I can just
you've done your bit right. It's me now.
Yeah.
Hang on.
This is the joys of technology.
Oh no, it's wonderful.
Oh, you've gone black. Oh,
sorry.
You're trying.
I'm sorry, just bear with me. If we can't do it now, Martin, it's absolutely fine. Obviously, everyone knows how to get hold of you. I'm going to have one more go, and then I'm not going to waste everybody's time.
What I'm going to be doing anyway, Katy, and for anybody else who's
that might work.
Yes, we have a slide. Happy day. You made it work, yo. So we'll leave that up there for a wee minute as we chat briefly, and before we finish the recording. Katy, I just want to say again, thank you very much for taking time this evening to join me for one of the business conversations. This will be shared on the business conversation page of the Gilchrist Co website. It will also be shared out across our social media profile, of which we have about 30 or 40,000 followers. How many of those followers will actually see it? Probably not 30 or 40,000. It'll
probably also be shared across Satago so they can all have a good laugh at me as well.
Well, wonderful. Do you know what? The best bits are the bits that don't go quite right. If we're all consummate professionals all the time, well, sure, where's the fun in that? So those will be shared. And the final thing I'll be doing is there's a thing on Facebook called Watch Party, where you essentially watch back a video that has been recorded somewhere else, but you do it live, so the videos
Oh
are
yeah.
recorded live. And what I'll do is I'll use that as an opportunity to share the Satago details and your contact details, and to answer any questions that anybody may have on credit control. So hopefully that will add value to the video we've already created. Katy, you of course will be very welcome indeed to join us on that watch party if you want, but I appreciate you're a very busy woman and may not. So,
well, if you let me know when it is, if I'm free, I would absolutely love to have a look at that as well, Martin. Yeah, thank you.
And I think that's given everybody a good opportunity to see the Satago slide. And with that, one final thing I want to say before you end. Anybody who's watching, if you think, actually that looked like fun, I would love to join Martin for one of these business conversations and share the story of what we do, give me a wee shout. I love doing these things. The feedback I'm getting is other people find them very useful and interesting. It gives them insights they might not otherwise have. And you would be very welcome to join me.
Martin will be very nice to you as well. He won't try and trip you up or do anything mean to you, I promise you. He will treat you with absolute respect and kindness.
Thank you, Katy. I certainly try. And with that, I'm going to finish the live recording. Katy, stay with me for a wee minute. We can have a chat afterwards. But
no
to everyone else, have a great evening. Bye.
Good night. Bye.